I think I have the power to end this war, and I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose not to do it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Conservative Chronicle. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Today we're diving into a super important topic that's been making headlines worldwide. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's break it all down. Let's start off with President Trump's latest claims. He recently stated that he has the power to end the ongoing war in Ukraine, and that if he had been in the White House 3 years ago, none of this would have ever happened. Now, whether you agree with him or not, this is a pretty bold statement. He says that the war could have been avoided entirely if Ukraine had been more willing to negotiate with Russia and give up some land. What do you think about that? Should Ukraine have done more to prevent the invasion, or is this just a simplistic take on a complex situation? Now let's talk about those talks in Saudi Arabia that took place between US and Russian diplomats. This was huge, but here's the kicker: Ukraine wasn't invited to the table. That's right, even though Ukraine is directly involved in this conflict, they were left out of the conversation. It's pretty controversial, right? The US clarified that these talks weren't about negotiations for a peace deal yet, but still, many feel that leaving Ukraine out could be seen as sidelining them. What's your take on that? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on to Trump's solution for peace. He mentioned that if he had been president, he could have struck a deal where Ukraine would give up some land to Russia in exchange for peace. In his words, this would have prevented destruction and saved lives. But is that really a fair solution? Giving up land as a peace offering might seem like a way to end the war, but at what cost to Ukraine's sovereignty? Let me know if you think this could have worked, or if this is a dangerous precedent to set. Now, let's look at how Ukraine is responding to all of this. Their President Zelensky made it clear that Ukraine can't be left out of the peace talks. After all, this war is happening on their land, so it makes sense they should have a say in how things play out, right? But with talks happening without their input, Ukraine is worried that they could be forced into a peace deal that favors.
Convinced that they are willing to begin to engage in a serious process to determine how and how quickly and through what mechanism can an end be brought to this war. Whether we can ultimately reach that outcome will obviously depend on every side in this conflict's willingness to agree to certain things.
Versus Russia. So what happens next? Can Ukraine maintain its sovereignty in the face of growing international pressure? The tension is palpable. Lastly, we have to look at the bigger picture. Peace in Ukraine seems like a distant dream, but is it even possible? We're seeing different diplomatic efforts from the US and Russia talking to European leaders planning peacekeeping forces, but with so many players involved, it's hard to see a clear path to resolution. Can we expect peace soon? What does it mean for Ukraine, Europe, and the world if a deal is struck? There's a lot at stake here. So what do you think? Are Trump's ideas about ending the war realistic? Or is he missing the complexities of the situation? Do you believe Ukraine should have been more involved in the talks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love reading your opinions. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button for more updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.